Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Come on in, people. All aboard. Wicked Boston Show. Cam Stewart on this Wednesday, January the 7th. We haven't gotten weird yet, but rest assured we will get weird on this Wednesday. We have got Patriots, Chargers coming up Sunday night. We've got to give you the Chargers angle of things. So we'll have Fernando Ramirez of the Sporting Tribune, covers the Chargers, has for a long time. He is going to come on the show in a couple of minutes, joining us and help breaking this thing down before it even gets started from the Chargers side of things. We're also going to have our Weird Wednesday with Zach Burke, the weirdest sports stories of the week. And I've got a couple of interesting notes to get to before we get full on into this Patriots Chargers preview for Sunday Night Football in the wacky, weird, wild, whimsical wild card round of the NFL playoffs. Before we get there, it seems only fitting that in the week that the Patriots are playing their first playoff game in 4 years, that I start with the Boston Celtics. And I've started to pick up a lot more Celtics stuff the last couple of weeks. I've been watching them, but this has suddenly become a team worth talking about. And tonight's matchup at the Garden, 7 p.m., none of that 8:30 crap they try to pull when a team from another time zone's in here. 7 p.m. at the Garden, we have got a historic matchup and a really weird matchup between the Celtics and the Nuggets. Now, you could be paying attention because the Celtics are now second place in the Eastern Conference. You could be paying attention because this is a battle of two recent NBA champions. And you could be watching because they only play twice a year. But why you really should be watching is because this is a game for the history books. Sean Grandy always has these stats going out there. He can't thank my pal Pete Souza for the great work that Pete Souza's done for him in the past, but he can put out these offensive rating stats, which is the fact that tonight, when the Boston Celtics take on the Denver Nuggets, it will not only be a matchup of the two highest rated offenses in the NBA this year. It'll be a matchup between the two teams with the best offensive ratings in the history of the NBA. You did not hear that incorrectly. This will be a matchup of the top two offensive ratings of any team in the history of the National Basketball Association. Now, obviously, we know that this has really been dominated by teams in the last couple of years, right? Like all the teams in the top 10 are playing in the 2020s, right? So it's not like they're beating out the 86 Celtics necessarily in this category. In fact, of the teams in the top 10, the least recent one was the 2023 Sacramento Kings. Like that's what we're talking about here. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is crazy. Man, how awesome is that? This is a team without Jason Tatum. And they're sitting there at the second highest offensive rating of all time. Better than when they won the title a couple years ago when they had like the top 5 offensive, top 5 defensive rating, number 1 net rating the entire year. Better than that. But there is a caveat here. Because then I remember thinking, wait a minute. Denver, though, Nikola Jokic is out. And I was underselling it. Like their whole starting lineup is out. And I bring up this stat to bring up an even better stat from Grandy. The all-important caveat, he calls it. Points per possession without Nikola Jokic, 1.125. What does that mean, Cam? It means they're 25th out of 30 in the NBA this year in points per possession when Nikola Jokic is not on the floor, excuse me. With Nikola Jokic, they're 1.280, which would smash not only this year's high, but the NBA record when Nikola Jokic is on the floor. So very sorry to those of you who bought your tickets well ahead of time, didn't use Ticket Liquidator the day of, because Nikola Jokic is not going to play. He's not going to play tonight. In fact, there's a concern from the Nuggets side that none of their starting 5 will be able to play. They got to a point in their last game where they had so many reserves playing for them that one of the dudes bragged about their win on a LinkedIn post. Brother's got a LinkedIn. That's not what an NBA starter should have. He should have millions of dollars in the bank. He shouldn't need to be on a networking social media site. So that's where the Nuggets are at right now. Fascinating matchup. But of course, you also got to look at the Celtics side, right? Like every game they're playing this year is without Jason Tatum until maybe April. But I said it a lot yesterday, so I won't hone in too much on it. But I got to say, I'm just so impressed by the Celtics team. We probably shouldn't be at this point, but I can't help it, man. Like the way Like the NBA should not be like college basketball in pretty much any way, right? But it feels like the Celtics are Duke or Kansas. You know, their culture, they're there. And unlike Duke or Kansas, these guys stay more than 1 year. So there actually is a culture built up. Like the Celtics are getting culture victories. They're better than the Knicks, and the Knicks are going all in. The Celtics are winning games because, yeah, they do have some good players, a very good player, maybe the MVP this year in Jaylen Brown. But outside of that, it's no longer Horford or Holiday or Porzingis, and yes, no Tatum right now. It's Neemias Queta. It's Peyton Pritchard. It's Derek White. It's Ugo Gonzalez. It's Josh Minot, Luka Garza, who my friend's uncle calls lasagna. Like they're doing it because they have a great system in place. They have the best executive in the league. They have who knows exactly what to find with this team, i.e. Anthony Simons, i.e. Josh Minot. You've got one of the best coaches in the league who's been doubted a million times in this town, in Joe Mazzulla, and they have a style, and they continue to play that way. They play hard, and like I'm talking really hard every single night, and they get culture victories. So I'm fascinated to see what that looks like, how that looks tonight. Celtics and Nuggets, two shorthanded teams who have found a way offensively. You know, these coaches have worked it out and found a way for them to be prolific offensively, even when they don't have some of their best players. Now, without Jokic, that clearly is a drop-off, but it should be a fascinating one tonight. And we are going to do, we are going to do a full Chargers-Patriots wildcard round preview here in a couple of minutes when we get Fernando Ramirez of the Sporting Tribune on. Coming, by the way, through recommendation from Mike Debate. Because I know a lot of you were watching that Monday, when we had Mike Debate on, and he usually is breaking down the game that happened the day before. This week was more of a look ahead. And he broke the news to me. I didn't know. He used to cover the Chargers. He did for years. He said he did San Diego, and I think he said a little bit of LA as well. And I asked him, I said, hey, is there anyone, I'm doing my homework throughout the week. Who can I reach out to here? I don't have my West Coast contacts. And I say, like, is there anyone that's really good, dynamite, that you would recommend being on the show that you remember from the beat? And he gave me one name. He said, Fernando Ramirez is the guy you need to reach out to. He's busy, but he'll be flexible. He'll give you time, and he is the best one. You don't need another name. And looking at his work and the fact that he's coming on the show today, I didn't need another name. But I was talking some shit on Monday's show, saying that the Chargers were probably the easiest opponent the Patriots could have gotten in the first round because they couldn't have gotten Pittsburgh. That would have been great. I would have taken that 8 days a week. I would have Beatles that thing. I would have loved to face the Steelers. And when you look at how this is shaking out, because the AFC is so wide open, the Patriots' path to the Super Bowl is there. It is there. And that's not to say that they can't lose this week, but they're a better team than the Chargers. And, the combination of Jacksonville or Buffalo or even Denver or however this kind of thing shakes out, I'm not like petrified of any team in the AFC. And it goes, we've heard it through the lens of the Bills and the Ravens and, some of these other teams that were either in the playoffs or around the playoffs. But there's no team that's coming in here with a perennial winner at quarterback, a serial winner. And when you think of the AFC, it's been that way for 20 years, 25 years with one or two exceptions. Brady, Manning to a certain extent, although the big thing on him early in the career was that he couldn't win the big one. Roethlisberger to a smaller extent. But really, Brady, Mahomes. That's what you've gotten for the last 15 years in AFC championship games. That's what's been waiting for you. And to a lesser extent, some of these other guys, Roethlisberger, Manning, Burrow, not Allen, not Jackson, not Allen Jackson. That's for sure. But it's wide open enough that I think Patriots fans are saying, we're still playing with house money. We're ahead of schedule, but there's a path here. There is a path here for sure. And the first thing that popped into my mind when we knew it was going to be the LA Chargers coming to Foxborough was, hell yeah. A team from Southern California that more or less plays in a dome coming to Foxborough in January. If you're the Patriots, you couldn't ask for anything better, right? We saw it for years with the Colts. We saw it with the San Diego Chargers. And these teams would come up here and they would wilt. They would fold. Baltimore? No. They're used to that. But Jacksonville, San Diego, Indianapolis, Houston, they would come up here and they would crumble in the cold weather. Time after time after time. This is a real thing. This is not an East Coast bias that is something that we just made up. This is a real tangible thing. And oh, by the way, we've got numbers to back it up here. How about this stat? Well, you can't really see it. The last 10 years, a full decade, teams that play in a dome are 1-14 straight up on the road in the playoffs when the weather is under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The Chargers fit that mold. And it might even be colder than that, by the way. Because this is the early outlook on the weather Sunday night. I love that we're talking about, by the way, I love that we're talking about Patriots games and we're bringing up the weather forecast because that means you're playing in big games late in the season and into the postseason. And here's what we got. Between 33 and 45 degrees with a 90% chance of precipitation, which means nasty, gross, like slush, rain, sleet, disgusting, probably not turning into snow, or at least not accumulating. And what we call that in New England between 33 and 45 degrees, you know what we call that here? Not that cold. Really not that bad. In LA, they're probably talking about, making sure your pipes are okay. Making sure you don't need to go out of the house unless you absolutely necessary. It's under 45 degrees. So you couple that with a quarterback who has struggled mightily in the postseason. And I know Drake Maye's never played a postseason game, but he's got a clean slate in it. Justin Herbert does not. Those extracurricular things, so to speak, are going to be what comes up when we talk about this game and we preview this game. And these things are real, man. Again, for a Patriots fan, you don't even need to tell them. But for the Chargers fans watching and are saying this is way overblown, we've seen it time and time and time again. This is why you want to play at home in the playoffs. The Patriots, do they have the best home field advantage, raucous crowd? This is not this is not the black hole in Oakland. It's not Arrowhead. All right, it's not, I don't know, Lambeau had more of a mystique than it had an atmosphere, but it's not that. It's a good fan base, but it's going to be really cold, and it's going to have some weather. It's going to have some precip. It's going to have some ice. That's where the Patriots get a home field advantage, right there. And I'm licking my chops at this matchup, Patriots-Chargers. Because I think the Patriots should win, and because I do think the Chargers are still an interesting matchup. They're a good team. They've got a top 10 quarterback. They've got a hell of a defense. They're not even at 100%, and they still won, 11, 12 games? I'm hearing people talking about Justin Herbert could have an MVP case. Not that he would win over May or Stafford, but he's got an MVP case with how well he's played this season. A 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. But with the lack of talent around him. You know, your top two tackles gone for the year. Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater. Ladd McConkey not having the year he had last year. And still Justin Herbert has made it work. He's made it work. Here they are. They were challenging Denver until the final week of the season for the division title. And Denver's the number 1 seed. So you can't take them lightly. But what we're going to get in just a few minutes here is a breakdown of exactly how the Chargers can get after the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. We'll have Fernando Ramirez from the Chargers side. We'll have it on the other side of this short break on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart.
Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
Everybody at Equalife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Welcome back to the Wicked Boston Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass. He's keeping us on the air. Live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 5 days a week. And then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. You want to hear about the Pats game this week? You want to hear a Patriots-Chargers preview without any of the BS storylines, narratives, that crap that gets forced into your Sports Talk Radio? You have found the right place. You have found it right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We are preparing for the first Patriots playoff game in 4 years, which feels like a lifetime around here. It's Patriots, it's Chargers, Sunday night football in the wacky, whimsical wild card weekend. And to look at it from the Chargers standpoint, we have the expert joining us now, Fernando Ramirez of the Sporting Tribune. Fernando, really appreciate you taking the time with us today. And how are the vibes around this Chargers team heading into the postseason?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I wouldn't say expert, but
come on.
I appreciate it. I mean, the vibes are good. I think they felt good coming out of that Denver game. I think they felt like, especially the guys that are on the second unit that had to play the rest of the game, Tuli Tuipulotu, Khalil Mack, those guys didn't play. It was the secondary guys and guys like Tony Jefferson came off the field fired up. They felt good about the way that they played. They felt good really the last month of the season, especially after that bye week. I know they got obliterated by Jacksonville, but Derwin James told me after the Raiders game, he goes, Fernando, you guys haven't seen anything yet. Like, we're really going to turn it on. I'm like, Derwin, you guys have the Super Bowl defending champions coming in. He's like, no. He's like, just watch. Like, we're going to turn it on. And that Eagles game, I was really surprised. I was like, wow, they're like, Jalen Hurts was turning the ball over left and right. He turned it over twice on one play where he threw the pick, he fumbled, and then the Chargers recovered. So they've really turned it on. They did well against the Eagles. They did really well against the Chiefs. The Chiefs games where I saw the the violence. Like they were willing to play bully ball, and they were willing to do whatever they needed to win that game against the Cowboys. I was really interested to see what they were going to do in that game, because the Cowboys have a very good offense, just their defense is really bad. And the Cowboys got off to a very fast start, but then the Chargers kind of eased in, and they were like, okay, let's settle it down, let's clamp down. They allowed 17 in the first half, allowed 0 in the second half. And then the Houston game, I know they give up 2 huge plays at the beginning of the game, but they really clamped down after that and only allowed 6 points, which is really their message is, let's get off to a fast start this week. And they're feeling good about this. I mean, it's just having to go to the East Coast, all that stuff. I mean, those narratives. So, but they're not listening to any of that. They really feel like they're feeling good about themselves going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I do want to tap into that confidence, because we'll talk a lot about the defense with this team and how scary it can be, especially for a young quarterback, which obviously the Patriots are faced with this week. But looking at, you said it in there. I mean, it's 3 wins over the 2 Super Bowl teams from last year. Up until the final week of the season, you're in it for the division title against the number 1 seed in Denver. Like, this has been a good season, and it feels like a lot of people in the know, so to speak, are kind of writing the Chargers off of like, it's Justin Herbert in the playoffs. It's the East Coast thing, which I talked about in the first segment. The weather thing can be a real deal. So do you feel that inside that locker room, they feel they're much better than a 7 seed?
I don't know about that. I just feel like they think that they can go into anywhere and play well. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, they went into Kansas City with 6-degree weather, and they were able to do really well. Now the offense had its struggles, but the offensive line has really gained confidence since Jamari Sawyer's kind of become their left tackle. So I think they're feeling like with Jamari, they've been able to calm down a lot of the skepticism that comes with their offensive line. But no, I feel like they can. Melvin Ingram used to say this back in like 2018, ASAP. Anytime, any place, whatever. It was like any town, anywhere, any place, whatever it was, any squad, any place. That's what they used to say. That's kind of the mantra that these guys are taking. They really feel like they can play anywhere. I mean, like I said, most of these guys have played in cold weather environments. I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, Justin played in Oregon. Oregon's not typically a warm weather place. And then you go over to Tony Jefferson played with the Baltimore Ravens. Khalil Mack's played in Chicago. I mean, some of these guys have played in those cold weather environments, so they were not really fazed by any of that. And I think that's just the confidence that Jim Harbaugh gives you. I mean, Jim is telling them stuff, and players have told me that he's telling them stuff to get them really hyped up. They're believing in themselves. They know that the offensive line hasn't been the best this year, but they really feel like Justin's playing at a high level, and he's creating stuff with his feet. He's trying to do as much as he can, but they really feel like they're playing well. I know that they had a 2-game skid, but they feel really good going into these playoffs that they can. I mean, just like anybody else, I'm sure if you ask Buffalo feels like they can go into Jacksonville and win. I'm sure Houston feels like they're going to be able to go into Pittsburgh and beat them. But I think this year, you never know. I mean, you could see a wild card team go all the way to the Super Bowl, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit, just by the way that the NFL has kind of been this year.
Yeah, especially the AFC. The AFC is so wide open. I was just talking about it too. Like, there isn't that alpha. As much as we want Josh Allen to be that alpha, the league, I'm saying, he's not yet. He hasn't done that. And in the last 20 years, it's been Mahomes. Manning, Brady, Mahomes, every year, so it is definitely kind of a different scene here. And this Chargers defense is scary, like top 5 in a ton of categories. You do have a Patriots quarterback who, although is having an MVP season, is making his postseason debut, as we talked to Fernando Ramirez of the Sporting Tribune. So, Fernando, looking at this Chargers defense, there are things that they do that can really frustrate and confuse a young quarterback. How do they do it?
It really starts with the trade that they made a couple of games into the season. Once they lost to the Commanders, they sat back and they're like, what's going on? Well, they're not getting any pressure to the quarterback. And yeah, Tuli Tuipulotu was coming off against the Giants having 4 sacks. and Khalil Mack was hurt, and they were kind of like, well, what are we going to do? Well, let's go trade for Odafe Oweh, who obviously, there you go, another Baltimore Ravens, Chargers, Harbaugh connection, and they brought him in, and he's really turned up the level. He had 0 sacks coming into the Chargers, and now he finished the season with 8 in like 11 games, I think, for the 12 with the Chargers. And that really just came to show you that he was maybe in the wrong system, and coming out over here, it really changed life for him. He had Thule had 13. He had 8. I think Khalil had 5 or 6. So that's really, the pass rush is really what's gotten them. And what's really helped them is 2 guys that not a lot of people know about. Tier Tart, defensive tackle, and the other defensive tackle is Deshaun Hand. Deshaun Hand was out for that Giants game, was out for that Commanders game, and the defense just didn't look the same without him. And they've really come in and they've played bully ball again. If we remember, Tier Tart is kind of that energy on the defensive line where Travis Kelce gets in his face, he slaps him in the face, and all these Swiftie fans come after him. And he just he had like some quote on his Instagram page that day later. It was like a Taylor Swift quote, and he's done other stuff where it gets the other team frustrated and may draw a flag, but it fires up the team. So those are it really starts with that defensive line, the way they've gotten after the quarterback, the way they've been able to slow down offenses because of the way they've played. Now you add in the addition of Denzel Perryman, who's obviously a run stopping linebacker who's not afraid to thump. And then obviously in the secondary, they have a really healthy rotation of corners with Tarheeb Still, Donta Jackson, Benjamin St-Juste, and Cam Hart. And I remember before the season started, and during free agency, Charger fans were like, what are we doing getting Donta Jackson and Benjamin St-Juste? Who are these guys? These guys are terrible. Then they come in and they play with the Chargers, and Donta Jackson is one of the highest rated corners in the NFL this year, according to PFF, if people actually pay attention to that stuff. He's one of the highest rated corners there. And then you have Derwin James. And then I think the addition of RJ Mickens, a 6th round corner out of Clemson, has helped. Tony Jefferson getting reintegrated in this defense has helped. Elijah Molden has been nursed with injuries part of this year. So Tony and Derwin Tony and RJ Mickens have really added something to this secondary. So I think that's it. It's like a whole thing of like the defensive is just playing like a unit right now. And I feel like that's why they're playing so well, is because they understand each other's assignments.
And we've heard it kind of all season long. Young quarterback going up against the defense of this ilk or Denver's ilk or Houston's ilk, and that can cause a lot of problems. And you say, I mean, you hear it when the Chargers are playing defense. You can hear it. It's physical, and the Patriots do the same thing. It is going to be a hard-hitting NFL playoff game. And looking at Thule, I just see this as a huge advantage for the Chargers. Is there a part of this Chargers defense that you look at in this game and say that's a huge advantage to LA?
The pass rush. I feel like they get into this set and 3rd down. Sometimes they'll do it on 2nd down, but they have Odafe Oweh on one side. They have Thule on the other, and they have Khalil Mack inside. Or they'll switch off and they kind of rotate they'll do different rotations to really take apart the opposing offensive line. And then maybe they have Deshaun Hand in there, or Tier Tart, or even Justin Eboigbe, another guy who he was a 4th round draft pick last year, barely even played. This year he's had 6 sacks this season. So it's, like I said, it's been a healthy rotation of guys, but that's the thing, that defensive line, when they have those 3 guys in there, it's gotten a lot of pressure. And it's funny, it started even 2 years ago when they drafted Thule. It was Thule, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack. They were caught wrecking havoc. The only thing is Joey couldn't stay healthy, or Thule still hadn't gotten it. So this year, it seems like ever since they brought Odafe in, it's really gelled together. And all 3 of them have done really well together. And you can just tell that they have a bond and a brotherhood. And I had Odafe on my show, I think it was last week, and he was telling me, he's like, look, I feel really good with these guys. Like, I want to stay long-term. I like the way we've built our brotherhood, and I really feel like we're getting better and better as a trio. Because I think now in the NFL, we got to start looking at not just pass rushing duos. Sometimes you have to look at pass rushing trios. And I do think that the Chargers have one of the best. I think Denver and obviously Houston have them beat a little bit. But I think the Chargers are right there when it comes to trios, having one of the better pass rushing trios in the NFL. So I think that's their advantage going into this weekend is those three guys.
And looking at the guy they're going after, right? The talk is not necessarily about the fact that Drake Maye is about to play his first postseason game. When you're looking at the narratives around this game, it's mostly Justin Herbert's record in the postseason. And I know you've heard it plenty, right? The 0-2, the comeback in there, twice as many picks as touchdowns. What is the feeling around Herbert, who's done a great job with the injuries around him this year? I say he's got he's not going to win it, but has a long shot MVP case because of the injuries around him. Does this feel like something has been put behind him and it's a new Justin Herbert, or is there still stress there?
No, I think that's all been put behind him just because he's faced a lot of adversity this year. I mean, you lose your left tackle, you lose your right tackle. You're kind of in there with this makeshift offensive line that's had 32 different combinations, which is extremely high. You're going into the postseason with the 31st ranked passing offense or pass blocking offensive line and with the 32nd run blocking offensive line. So literally Herbert's kind of had to put the cape on this year and been the Superman. I mean, I'm really surprised they've won 11 games with how bad that defensive line has been, but Herbert's done stuff that in that Philadelphia Eagles game, it reminded me of his Rose Bowl game, where in the Rose Bowl, he didn't have they weren't really throwing the ball very well. So what did he do? He scored 3 rushing touchdowns and that long one, obviously, that we all remember against Wisconsin, where he takes off 40 yards and he scores. That is what he did against Philly. At the end of that game, to get in field goal range twice, he took off with his legs and he was doing stuff. I mean, heck, he even did an RPO, took the ball, ran, stiff-armed a guy with his recently surgeried left hand, and stiff-armed the guy and still gained another 2 yards. The guy literally is ridiculous, and I know the narrative around him. I think it's honestly overblown. And I just remember, I mean, I was young, but I still remember Peyton Manning had the exact, and I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing him to Peyton Manning.
No, but you're exactly right.
But Peyton Manning had the same narrative, choker, this, that. It took him a while. Yeah. And until Peyton Manning's 6th year, and this is Justin Herbert's 6th year, where he won his first playoff game. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Justin feels calm. I don't think he feels the pressure or any of that people are trying to build on him. I mean, he's not playing the AFC South, which the Chargers used to dominate the AFC South, and all of a sudden it just flipped, and they haven't performed very well against them. But I really feel like a lot of the players are saying we want to win for Justin, to show that it's not just on Justin, it's on all of us. Like Khalil Mack last year, I remember he said with an F-bomb in there, he said, man, I don't give an F what people say. People don't know what 10 does. 10 is our guy. He's like, I can promise you there's out of 32, there's probably 20, what do you say? 29 other teams that would love to have 10 on their team, but they don't have them. We do. And I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty insightful. But yeah, I think Justin's going to go in there calm. I think he's going to go calm, cool, and collected. The thing is, too, they brought back his guy. I know you were talking about it when I was listening to that back portion. They're one of the best third down offenses in the NFL. And why is that? Because they brought back Keenan Allen, who's really been a huge help for Herbert. And that's why they've been able to extend drives and not go. Last year, they were the kings of 3 and out. They would go 3 and out a lot. This year, that hasn't happened because they have Keenan Allen back and they've been able to move the ball with him. So that's definitely helped. Yes. Has it hampered a little bit of what Ladd McConkey's done? Yes. But I feel like you can't just rely on one guy the way that the Chargers did last year in Ladd McConkey to get the ball moving, to score touchdowns, to do all that. This year, they have multiple other players to kind of help out with that. And obviously his production is going to fall a little bit, but I mean, I'm sure Ladd is the first one that'll tell you I'd be willing to sacrifice my stats to be able to win games. And that's what and that's what Jim's kind of taught them to not be. Now, I'm not saying anybody on that locker room selfish, but to be more about, hey, how can I help the other guy? How can I do this? Keenan Allen came in and he said, I want to help these young bucks grow and progress. And And that's really what they've done. I think the receivers have kind of grown in the last few weeks, and they've gotten better. Trey Harris keeps on making 2 or 3 catches a game now, and he's a rookie second rounder. That's the 4th receiver on the roster, and he's really helped kind of make a name for himself these last few weeks.
All kinds of analysis coming at us, but I'm gonna get outside of the football field a little bit, Fernando, before we get a prediction out of you, because this morning I was outside 7:30 a.m. I was putting salt on our steps to make sure nobody sued us as they were trying to get up our steps. I'm looking outside right now. The snow is coming down. There's supposed to be some on Sunday. We alluded to it earlier. How much do you take the weather into account when a West Coast dome team comes across the country in January?
I think it's football. I mean, if that's going to be an excuse, then why even go out there? I mean, and pretty soon it seems like every stadium's going to be a dome, which is unfortunate in my opinion, because I love the weather elements of it. But if you're going to win a Super Bowl, if you're the Chargers, you're going to have to play in. Heck, you're going to go to the Patriots. If you win that game, you go back to Denver where it's going to be cold. And again, the wackiest thing that would be funny is if Hyde Park is used one more time when it comes to Buffalo and the Chargers, and they have to use that stadium one more time. But it's wherever you go, it's going to be cold except for Houston, because Houston has a dome stadium. So you're going to have to play in the elements. You're going to have to play in the weather. So I really feel like there's no weather should not be an excuse. I mean, like I said, they kind of got that when they played in Kansas City in that 6-degree weather. But this weekend, I think I saw it's going to be about 33, 34, 35 degrees. I mean, you're going to have to go in there and just play your style of football. There's no excuses that can be made. And weather certainly isn't going to be an excuse. And I know Jim's going to be the first one saying that when he talks to them about the weather.
All right, Fernando, we got a lot of people who are looking to learn more about the Chargers this week that watch this program. So I'm going to have you plug away where they can find your work, listen, watch, read, and then I'd like a score prediction out of you.
I don't like doing score predictions.
I know. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Yeah.
I know. Let me go first with the plug.
I was going to say, you do
I'm at Real F Ramirez on Twitter, on Instagram. My podcast is Compas on the Beat. That's my co-host and I are both Mexican, and we kind of met through the beat. So we just compas in Spanish means buddy. So we said buddies through the beat, through beat writing. So that's our show. And then everything you can find at the Sporting Tribune with Fernando, or just put Fernando Ramirez, and everybody can find my information. On the show yesterday, I guess I'm going to have to stick by it or stick to it. I said, look, I think the Chargers need this game. They started training camp July 10th. Do you remember when the Patriots started training camp or no?
No.
Okay. So no. The reason why I know is because that means I had to work a lot earlier than everybody else. So they started July 10th.
22nd, 24th.
Yeah. So they started a week and a half before everybody else did. And I remember players told me before that Jacksonville game, they were exhausted. It was a lot. They needed that week off. Obviously, they got blown out by Jacksonville. They went into the bye week, and then they kind of recharged their batteries. If you're Jim, you need to show these guys that this is working. The practicing, the long mini camp, everybody's done on Thursday. Jim still had them come in and practice on Monday for mini camp. So those long practices, this is the reason why they do it, to go win games like this. And I really feel like the Chargers really need this game, especially because Jim needs to show his guys that this is all working and that they're one step closer to getting to where they want. So I ended up going, I think yesterday, Chargers 24, Patriots 19, I think is what I did. But honestly, I think the Patriots have a young team that is at the first step of where they're going to get. I think Patriot fans, no matter what happens, if they win, great. But if they don't, I think Patriot fans need to be patient, because I think they're building something very good in New England. And we all know it isn't built in a day. So they're going to need to give their coaches a little bit of patience. But I really like what Mike Vrabel is building. I saw on a radio show that he talked about how the Spanos family told him, and I knew this from 2 years ago, but that he was, if Jim didn't accept the job, they were going to give it to Mike Vrabel. And he was very, he gave a lot of compliments to Dean and John Spanos for calling him and letting him know and everything. He's like, not a lot of owners would do that. So that was pretty cool of Mike to give that little shout out. But yeah, no, I definitely can't wait to see what happens. And it's very, very nice to meet you, Cam.
Hey, great to meet you too, Fernando. This was perfect. I really appreciate you taking the time and helping us see it from the Chargers side of things.
Appreciate it, man.
There he goes, Fernando Ramirez, the Sporting Tribune. Check out the show as well. I really appreciate that. That was awesome stuff. So check out Fernando's work so you can get brought up to date on all that's going to happen from this Patriots-Chargers game, or at least what to expect in this Patriots-Chargers game. If you've got a score prediction that you're happy with, let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we come at you live on YouTube every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. When we come back, we're going to put a bow on this thing because we're going to get weird. Zach Burke gives us the weirdest stories of the week in Weird Wednesday, coming up next.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Covers and All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Now back to the show, the Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. Cam Stewart, your host. Let's bring Zach Burke in here, shall we? Who, it's not snowing outside his window. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Can you do that for me?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. I think it's like in the 70s, actually.
I did hear that on the Zach Owen show this morning. When
76. There you go.
Pete Souza's show. So it's just all kinds of names ending in show. I did hear that it was a nice day in Central Texas, because that's where Zach is, the Waco Bureau, the mothership, the historic Alico building, which
for at least a little bit longer.
Oh,
you don't know? I'll tell you about that off.
All right. Guess we're getting some news off the air. Anyway, if it was snowing in Waco right now, you know what I would say about that?
What's that?
That's weird.
That is very weird. Just like the stories that I have collected today, or at least as weird of them as I can find. Made a little banner and everything for it. So,
oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. I think the best place to start is something that I just find oddly weird, because it's very fitting for this segment. So the World Anti-Doping Agency has released all of their, like cans and cannots, do's and don'ts, obviously things that they'll test for when it comes to doping in sports. Mm-hmm. One of them that struck me that they've added, the non-diagnostic use of carbon monoxide has now been added to the prohibited methods. I didn't realize that we are to the point of where we are injecting our bodies with carbon monoxide in some way, shape, or form to try to find some sort of competitive edge. Yeah,
I get nothing on that one.
The more I tried to look into it,
the thing that kills you, right? Like the thing you have to have.
We have
a detector in every room.
Exactly. It's what we emit. Okay. Like we learned in biology, like we take in the oxygen from the trees and we exhale out carbon monoxide, and it's deadly to us. You can't, it's illegal to kind of, inject yourself with that in some way, shape, or form. The only thing I could think of is that maybe they're using it somehow with all the blood doping and stuff with like the, Tour de France and all that. But at that point, like, I don't want to watch a guy ride a bike for 12 hours a day anyway. So
are we now at the point where like star athlete is in his garage, the door is shut and the motor's running, and we're wondering whether it's an attempt on his own life or if he's just trying to become a better athlete?
That is where we're at.
That's going to become a real question now. Okay.
But thankfully the World Doping Agency, our anti-doping agency, is here to let you know that they won't allow that. So unless it's an attempt on your life.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's move from that to baseball. There's two things. One,
love baseball.
I love baseball too. It's a slow time. Like, I mean, we're getting ready for pitchers and catchers.
This is the time I like baseball the most.
Really?
December and January is when I'm most into baseball.
Oh, is it because you're waiting for it to start?
Because my team hasn't fucked anything up yet. All right. Masataka Yoshida has not bounced out to second base this year.
Yep.
Okay. I love that. Ken Burns' baseball is on, and it's like it's a yearning for something.
Yeah. No,
it's a yearning for better weather more than anything.
To see their MLB season start. I just found this very strange because you don't hear it too often.
Mm-hmm.
But Japanese pitcher Kona Takahashi had been listed by his team and then decided, I'm going to play 2026 in the NPB after all, because he only got one total offer. Usually when we see these big time stars come over, as I did research for this, Cam, usually like there are some cases of where it's either they didn't think the market was going to be good enough and they'll either not like post themselves, or they will be like, oh no, I'm just not going to do this. But to the point of where there were actually offers like made and the market just was this bad, you have to go all the way back to COVID times in 2020. So
all the way back. Well, I mean, it was a whole different time. Half a decade. Yeah.
It adds into the aspect that I've seen a lot of people bring up, that it seems like our teams in general just aren't spending as much this offseason.
Yep.
And it is affecting the international market too, of where only, I mean, the Astros got their guy, but nobody else is looking to apparently bring in international players. But it was just odd to see a guy actually.
The Astros get Okamoto?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty, yeah.
I saw he had signed somewhere. I didn't want the Red Sox to sign him. I really didn't want them to sign the lefty that the White Sox got.
It was the Astros. He was at the Rockets game, like living it all up. And granted, there are a few things that I hate more in life than the Houston Astros. A lot of few things. So I guess congrats to him for finding a team, but I don't know. It kind of reminds me of.
It's a good ballpark for him.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Good pull hitter.
The other thing, though, that I think we could get more discussion out of is also starting this baseball season. It was something that has been used, tried and true, or at least tested out in the minor leagues, and they in the All-Star game last year.
Mm-hmm.
But this season, we are getting the balls and strikes challenges, or at least robo a little bit in the regular season. So what we are getting now is batters and pitchers. The team has two challenges. There we go. Very similar to like that in football, where essentially if you don't like the umpire is going to make all the calls, balls and strikes. But if there's something you disagree with, you can kind of sit there and take time and like double tap your head as like a challenge, and they will automatically pull it up and look at it there. And if it's successful, they'll give it to you. And if it's not, then you lose your challenge, just very much like anything else. But robo umps, they're at least starting with the challenge this year. This could be something we're moving towards in baseball.
So this is fascinating to me, because like the old heads, the visit to the mound guys, will hate this. And at first I don't like it, right? But I've seen it in minor league games. I've been to a couple minor league games the last couple of years. It is effortlessly fast.
Mhm.
It's so fast, man. They do one of these. The ump says challenging the call, and he's literally like looking at it right there. Calls overturned to a strike, and that's it. When you have the pitch clock in there, it really does not. You're still not. The games are not as long as they were before.
No.
But that said, and this is a lot of people aren't going to like this. I do kind of like or think there's a need for human error.
I get that.
Baseball. God damn it, man.
I get here. I'll take over while you do that. I get that. I'm going to mute you real quick. I get that in a way, for sure, because it adds just like a sense of like every strike zone is different. And so you kind of have to like prepare for, the ump that's calling that day, but it does add a little bit of, at least around or across the board, that it seems fair for everyone. Not that an automated one won't either, but it's enough to change the game without completely.
To me, it is kind of like driverless cars.
Yeah, like
in a way.
Cars.
I mean, that is different. You're kind of literally dealing with life and death there. But like, I just think there is room for it. And I watch other sports, specifically soccer, but it does come a lot in baseball too, where we're doing these incessant replays and we're slowing it down so much that it's like, man, like we're taking away from the game. It's when you're stealing a base and you're safe and half an inch under your fingertip comes off the bag and they call you out because they're enhancing the image. And I'm like, dude, that's not baseball anymore. Like that's not a sport. And we see it with soccer with the offsides that are so minimal. It's by an elbow. And I'm like, we're losing the point of instant replay there because it's not this grave error that they've made. And so for as often as you'll point to the Armando Galarraga perfect game that should have been, there's 20 other calls that are the guy taking his finger off the bag and he's out. And like that does stink. So what I'm trying to say is I think it will, for a lot of us, do more kind of tertiary harm than really good is what I'm trying to say. There'll be a lot more annoying little moments than there are the big corrections that define a game or a series or anything like that.
I completely agree. Like, I think there'll be some, like, it'll be nice to have in like playoff games and stuff like that, in situations where the pitcher fully believes that no, like that was strike 3, not ball 4. And you can have that
and
moment.
like I said, it is super quick and really easy. I don't know what their automated strike zone looks like. I grew up in a sport where that was different for every player, with how big you were, right?
Yeah.
It was always the knees to the shoulders or whatever it was.
Oh, I see numbers to knees,
So
or letters to knees, whatever.
Yeah. I will say, as someone who's seen it, it is really quick. You really don't notice it when you're at a game, and I'm sure it's the same when you're watching, because obviously I don't watch minor league baseball. I go to the games. Anyway, so. Good with the bad.
I'm with you there. I'll be interested to see how it works. I will close it out with something from just last night, a hockey story for us.
Yeah.
I think I have. Do you know where I'm going with this then?
I see a logo. So.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the worst goalie performance maybe ever
in the history of the sport. Yeah.
And I don't want to just roast him like that, because the poor guy. So what we're talking about is last night, the New York Islanders handed the New Jersey Devils a massive loss, like 9-0 shutout. But the thing on top of that was that Devils goaltender Jacob Markstrom allowed all 9 of those goals on only 24 shots.
It's just unfathomable to think that one team outshot the other by, I think, 20 shots. And not only did they lose, like that's bad enough to lose when you do that. They lost by 9 fucking goals. Like
he is, that's more than 33% of the time when they shoot, they score.
And I think when you go by, the like advanced stats too, it's he was like, he let in 8 goals above expected in that one game. 8 goals above expected in a season is not good for a goalie. It's not like historically bad, but it's not good. That's a bad season. He did it in one game, Zach. Like,
yes.
According to the next gen stats, he should have let 1 goal in. If you let in 3 or 4 in a game like that, that's a bad game. He let in 9.
Yeah, no, I looked it up to double check.
I've never seen a team hit double digits. It has happened in the NHL.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've seen the Bruins hit 9 twice. No 9 against them, I don't think. A lot of 8s and 7s the last 2 years. But 9 when he was only expected to give up 1. This Devils team is weird, man.
Yeah,
They're weird. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference a couple months, like early part of the season. Their best player was having a great year. He gets hurt. Jack Hughes by a steak knife accident at a steak restaurant. It's a weird fucking situation, man.
I looked up just a double for sure. Yeah, the Devils had 20 more shots than the Islanders last night.
But was it?
So the Devils had 44 to the Islanders 24. It was a full 20 more shots.
Yeah, 20.
And just
I saw like one of the graphics, and it was like Ilya Sorokin makes 44 saves in a shutout en route to a 9-0 victory.
The first 2 shots the Islanders had were goals of the entire game. They had 3
and by the
goals
way, the
and 5
Islanders are
shots.
not that good. The Islanders are not going to make the postseason this year. They had the number 1 pick in this last year's draft, although they had the 10th best odds, so they weren't like horrendously terrible. But they're not a good team. They're not a playoff team. The Devils should be. And 9 go. Wow, that is an all-time bad performance from Jacob Markstrom there. And an all-time crash out by Frank the Tank on Twitter afterwards. He's a big Devils fan.
Speaking of Frank the Tank, I saw that Will Ferrell also dressed up as a NFL referee at one point in time.
NHL, yeah.
Weird. I'm sorry, I said no. I do that all the time when we talk about hockey. It's that one letter that throws me off.
I'm Will Ferrelled out, I think, entirely at this point. Obviously, it's been a long time since he put out a good movie, really. But here's Will Ferrell. He's dressed up as a ref. That's cool. That's how zany. And you know what it is? It's that. And another thing that came up in the news yesterday or the day before that everybody in sports loves except me. I don't need any more Snoop Dogg. Like, I get it. He is funny. Like, I get it. There's videos spent all over my timeline about Steve Kerr getting ejected and Snoop Dogg broadcasting it. And I cannot bring myself to hit play. I cannot bring myself to actually watching it before judging it for myself. I've seen it. I did the whole Olympics thing. We were at my fiance's family's house during the last Summer Olympics, and her dad was like way into it, and we'd watch the friggin' recaps every day. And I couldn't really give a shit less about the Olympics. And it was so much Snoop Dogg. I was like,
and Kevin Hart too, right?
And everyone's like, oh, look how great this is. I'm like, but we've seen this a billion times. So anyway, that's it. That's all I had for weird.
That's all I got too. That's it.
That was good. That was good weird stuff.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Zach. It's been a weird week, and we decided to have that weird Wednesday. Of course, guys, coming up the next 2 days, we're going to have more Patriots Chargers preview at our new time, 1 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So we'll see you tomorrow on the next edition of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart and sometimes Zach Burke.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALusa.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.